It's me, your boy, Lil Squirt, D-Trill. I figure I might as well make a top 10 list of hip hop artists today. As of November, what is it? November 20 something. November 20 something, 2020. He's the top 10 male hip hop artist out right now. And if I included females, it would probably be a couple. Obviously, Beyonce would be there, but I don't know. I'm better versed here, so I'm gonna stick with it here. Starting off the top 10, right? We got 21 Savage. Now 21 Savage just dropped Savage Mode 2. I thought it was You know what you're getting from him, so when you get that kind of like real like violence music, it's 21. He's super good in that realm to a point where he's not gonna miss, and you know what he's giving you. And just for the consistency and credibility alone, I got to give it to 21. So 21 is number 10 on the list. Number 9, Joey Badass. Now, Joey Badass is someone that's on this list currently at number 9 could skyrocket all the way up after his next album drops, because that 3-pack that he dropped before a couple months ago or so, oh my God, every song is beautiful. Every single song is beautiful. I think what Joey Badass represents is a mix of old school and new school hip hop, and he does that seamlessly well. And he's also incredibly young, so he's got time to turn it all up, be the man. And he's probably going to do that. All American Badass is one of the most underrated albums I've listened to in a really long time. Before the Money was insane. Like I could talk about Joey Badass all day. He's number 9 right now. He could shoot his way up into the top 3. Like once his stuff drops, because he's genuinely that talented. Number 8 is a man I'm a fan of, and I'm kind of upset I had to put him at 8, but everyone that's ahead of him is rightfully in that top zone, and Freddie Gibbs is also in that top zone. So Freddie Gibbs at number 8. Now, Alfredo, obviously, in my opinion, probably album of the year. That'll come out in about a month or now once I have time to sit down with all the other albums, but that one is definitely in the conversation for top album of the year. Him and Alchemist was just, that combination on that album is perfect. But even when you hear him on features, he's always stealing the show. He's always got something funny to say. He's always witty. He's got personality. He's done it all independent. You have to respect Freddie Gibbs for everything that he's done. If you want to talk about lyricist and just flow and delivery, Freddie Gibbs is probably top 3, if not like right at the top. He's incredible. So Freddie Gibbs, number 8. Number 7, I don't really listen to this type of music, but I'd be wrong to not put him on a top 10 list. So number 7, don't get mad at me, I got Uzi at 7. I just think what he's done with that scene and that fan base, and what this kind of SoundCloud era represents, not this SoundCloud era, but the 2016 era, like the OG SoundCloud era, what he's done with that has turned it into such a cult following, and he sells so many records, it's not even funny. Based off of, how he's been able to capitalize on that kind of movement, especially because so many people from that era have fallen off. Obviously you have the Travis Scott. Oh, by the way, Travis Scott's an honorable mention. I really like Travis Scott. I love Travis Scott. But since Astroworld, it's all been ass. Okay, so we'll put him in the honorable mention. I love Travis Scott, but we got to put you got to pay for those features, bro. Number 6. Now, he's kind of in the same era. He's kind of in the same scene, but I love this man. Is Young Thug. Young Thug is at number 6, man. Everything he touches really turns into gold. I just think so much fun, and I think Cole produced that. He deserves a lot of credit, because I think there's a lot of influence that came from that. But Young Thug is just incredible, and I think the vibe that he captures on his songs and his albums are unmatched. There's so many clones of him too, and I think that's where the impact of it comes into play. There's so many people that want to sound like Thug, that want to sound like Uzi. That's what's hot now. That kind of rap, the trap stuff, the mumbling stuff, it's not really mumbling, but that's what's hot right now. And Thug and Uzi are the 2 guys that have pioneered that and have stayed the course and made themselves, they're going to be moguls off it. I feel like Thug is going to be around for decades to come. I really do appreciate a lot of what Young Thug is doing. And they're all young. So even for them to have such an impact and not even scratch the surface is scary to me. So Thug, number 6. Number 5, this is a personal favorite, and you may get upset at the way I do this, but bear with me because if I put all three of them on here, there's so many people that wouldn't have been on the list. I'm going to put the entire Griselda crew at number 5. The entire Griselda crew, it's not just Benny, Conway, and Westside, even though it could be them alone, but when you look at the entire collective as a whole, you have frequent producers, you have Derringer, and then you have Boldy James, and then you have Armani Caesar. Like, that is so well rounded. They now have literally a starting lineup of just killers. I think Westside as a curator definitely has a chance to crack this, but in terms of just lyrical ability and skill and the way they just take you down, Benny and Conway would be on this list alone, like stand alone. And I don't know how long Conway is going to be rapping for, but From King to a God, album of the year contender. Burden of Proof, album of the year contender. Pray for Paris, album of the year contender. Price of Tea in China by Boldy James, album of the year contender. Armani Caesar had a great debut. Like, these guys are incredibly consistent, and the thing about their consistency is while you can be consistent and make kind of mid-pack music, they're consistent and every work of art is incredible. Like, they have literally batting average of over 900. They're unbelievable. So shout out Griselda. If we were doing this just based off pure rapping ability, Benny, Conway, and Boldy would probably all be sitting here. Number 4. Now, 1 through 4 can change based off your opinion, but this is just my opinion, just based off the time. And of course, as time goes on, things are going to change because we haven't heard from either of these 4 top people in a little while, aside from number 3, which I'll get to. But number 4 right now, J. Cole. Now, we're still waiting for the fall off, I think it is, whenever that comes out, because I know COVID has messed up a lot of schedules for them. And I know with a lot of top artists like him, Drake, and Kendrick, obviously you want to tour and you want to capitalize as much as possible off your music. So whenever that comes, we're ready for it. We're ready for it. We've been waiting for Cole. I've been listening to a lot of old Cole too, like Sideline Story Cole, Friday Night Lights Cole, like just the evolution of where he's come and how he's so comfortable in this top spot. You can feel it with some of these superstars that once they get in this top spot, the pressure doesn't seem like too much to them. Like, they understand the moment and they understand what they have to do. And I feel like J. Cole is a perfect indicative of that. Like, you've got concept albums, you've got just straight up albums that are just beautiful to play. And it's been a while since Cole has really done anything. The last thing that's really credible to his name is the Dreamville Project, which was fantastic. And Cole spearheaded a lot of that. And he's done producing work with Thug and all that. Cole is definitely still there. I think once he drops his album, the appreciation is going to go up for him. But just as of right now, in terms of activity, we're going to put Cole at 4. Number 3, probably my favorite artist, is Tyler, the Creator. So let's get into it. It's been about a year since Igor dropped, and people have started to kind of talk about it in a negative light just based off the bad mixing, but they fail to realize that a lot of Tyler, the Creator's most prominent work is poorly mixed. Like, I know a lot of people are starting to come around to Cherry Bomb, and that's been one of my favorite albums, but I feel like the distortion along with the instruments and the intention is just pure. It sounds great. And while a lot of people can attract to the sonic smoothness of like a Flower Boy or the way some of the instrumentals on Wolf was, Tyler, the Creator's always been someone who's not going to make the same album twice. So as you look at his evolution, he's at a point where artistically he's stepping into other genres. He's not just a hip hop artist, and his last album was not urban, which he got nominated for in the Grammys. It was not an urban album, which is what he won for. It was like a pop, like electronic, like techno. Like, it was a whole lot of different stuff, but I just have a lot of appreciation for how much he's grown as an artist, and I think he just continues to get better. And again, he's still young. He's not 30 yet, so we haven't heard the best of him. Once he starts making smoother sounding albums, he's going to shoot to the top of the list. I think he's following a trajectory of Pharrell Williams, someone who he idolizes, because I don't think he wants to rapidy rap all the time. I mean, he does it on features, and he does it damn well. He's got one of the features of the year on 327, on Pray for Paris. He's got something to rap about on Alfredo. He had a fire verse on Yachty's shit. So Tyler Creator obviously is just going to continue to create and get better as time goes on. And right now, this is continuously the best version of him we've seen. So yes, I'm putting him 3 just personally. Number 2. Okay, so I'm going to put Drake here. Okay, I'm going to put Drake here, which obviously means number 1 is Kendrick Lamar. So with Kendrick number 1 and Drake number 2, these have been 2 guys who have been head above shoulders better than everybody else. Obviously, you have a J. Cole who's obviously hovering there, but when it comes down to it, what Kendrick and Drake do are on a different level in terms of influence. Since Views, and I think Views aged very well, I think his projects since then have steadily declined. Looking back, I don't think Scorpion was as prolific as I thought it was. It was a little too long, a little too janky. Dark Lane demo tapes is obviously just a bunch of throwaways. So, I mean, you take with that what you will, but I thought it was a more modern sounding Drake, which I don't think he really needs to do. I think he needs to stay in his own lane. And More Life was more of like the dance hall stuff, and it was really just a playlist, which is just a way to say there's a bunch of songs, I'm putting it out. I mean, I respect Drake and I respect what he's done, and I think Certified Lover Boy definitely has potential to be something like Views, where it ages really well, because Views is aged beautifully, and I think he definitely has an opportunity to put himself back in that situation in terms of influence, because when Views dropped, a lot of people were kind of looking at Views a little funny, but they were trying out what they were trying to do. They were trying out a lot of the same sonic samples. They were trying all that kind of stuff. But I think with Certified Lover Boy, I don't know what kind of new music or what type of new sounds or vibe he's going for. I think it'll influence a newer generation of artists. So I'm going to put Drake at 2. It's based off influence and based off his recent activity. And I know, based off recent activity, Kendrick Lamar has not done anything. He's done the Black Panther album, but that was really the last we've heard from him. He'll do a feature now and again. He hasn't been active. My thinking on this has been the same way that you would think with LeBron James. It's you're consistent and they take you for granted, and they look at all these shiny other new toys and they say, oh yeah, that's the best one. And while they're all great, what reason has LeBron given you to give up the crown? Has he given you a reason to give someone else the crown? Kendrick is number 1. He's been number 1. He hasn't done anything to say otherwise. Everything he's dropped has been great. Even Damn, which is one of his lower tier projects, was still an album of the year contender. And that was 3 years ago. 3 or closer to 4 years ago now. So there's no reason to take the crown off Kendrick. He hasn't done anything otherwise to show you that he's fallen off. That's my top 10. Let me know what your top 10 is in the comments. Let me know how you feel about it. Who's on this list that shouldn't be on this list? Who is not on this list that deserves to be on this list? Yes, I know I didn't say Kanye West because he's fallen off. Anyways, thank you for watching. Leave a like, leave a subscribe, show me love, please. I have nothing in life redeemable. So thank you. Have a good Thanksgiving, and I'll see y'all then.